Good evening. This is the Town of Monroe Board of Finance special meeting. Today is Thursday, April 2nd. It is 7 p.m. Please note that the meeting will be recorded and made available on the town's website. I'm going to start with roll call. Catherine Stoffer.
Present.
Steve Kirsch.
Present.
Dee Stalmack.
Present.
Nick Sentimentes.
Present.
Samantha Spino.
Present.
Terry Rooney.
Present.
Joe Cobza.
Present.
Ron Banowski.
Present.
Heidi Mead.
Present.
Frank Duchess.
Present.
And we have Sheila Castanelli.
Present.
Thank you. Okay. So we are going to kick off our second budget workshop with the Board of Ed.
Can I just have a couple of housekeeping requests?
Sure.
Thank you. I'd like to request that we get a copy of an electronic copy of the superintendent's presentation from the other night. I'd like to request that we get an electronic copy of the first selectmen's communication regarding the restoration, $1.2 million. I'd like to request that we get an electronic copy of the Board of Ed Section 3 budget that we used in paper last week, and I'd like to request for the next meeting if we could get the town treasurer's revised investment model so that we can have a preliminary look at it. Thank you.
Okay.
Steve, that's ahead of the,
Yeah, we did last year. You gave us a-
yes.
So do you want that electronic?
Steve, if you don't mind, can you just speak up a little bit more? It's just down here, it's hard to hear.
Oh,
Thank you.
Okay.
okay, so, sorry, yes, you can send it electronically
Okay.
to us so that we can just get a look at it beforehand. like
Would
we
you
did
rather
last-
funnel all the, maybe
Yeah, you
put
can-
that
if
in
you wanna-
writing?
Yeah, I'll send you an email. That sounds good.
Yeah, I was interested in the chair.
I don't see a problem with that, so I'll do all that follow-up and
Thank you.
get those. Okay, so I know that we had some additional questions come through this afternoon, so I think that's where we will start, and then we will move to our section 3 pages. Okay, so Joe, do you want to walk us through the responses to some of the questions?
Sure.
Okay.
So the first question is on disposal services. It asks for our actuals through 3/31. We're only $2,000 more than the proposed fiscal 27 budget. Do we need to increase the request? We don't, because that's encumbered. This year's line is encumbered. It's fully encumbered.
Okay.
The copier staple paper, why isn't there any spend so far this year? We actually pre-purchased that at the end of last year with surplus funds. So hopefully we'd like to be able to do the same this year with that, but we have to see where we finish out at the end of the year. The instructional supplies pointed out that the actuals fiscal year 25, so that was not this fiscal year, but the previous fiscal year, were 359. The current year we're in, we're 324. That was part of the reductions from last year. So they went down to 324. Next year's are up 3% from the 25 numbers. And we do feel that. I mean, I didn't mean to be curt or funny, but I just wrote yes. We do feel like that's enough to cover the instructional supplies. That's okay. I was doing that, like, yes.
Okay.
All right. So HVAC. So this goes to the facility study. There was a lot of discussion around HVAC. I see in the capital plan that we have significant spending to upgrade these systems starting in FY33. Should we be budgeting for more repairs in the near future since these projects are pushed out? Should we consider moving some of these projects forward to mitigate repair spending in the shorter term? So we're comfortable where we are right now. So we're okay there. The fiscal year 33, the first ones are at Jockey Hollow. Part of the reason why I say we're where we are now is that Jockey Hollow has been outfitted with a number of window units, newer window units in the past year or so, the past couple of years. The other schools are spaced out on the capital plan. So you'll see, I think Fowl, Jackie Hollow was maybe Fallen Hollow, I believe, on the capital plan. We start this fiscal year, 26, starting in July is when the state statute kicks in for HVAC assessments at all of the buildings. And we will be doing 20% of the buildings, which is one building a year. We'll start with Fawn Hollow this year. So we'll see what that assessment, with that, what information that gives us back, and see if we need to make any adjustments moving forward with next year's budget.
Thank you.
Yep.
So wait, hold on. What's the assessment entail of,
Dan had something tonight.
that's all right, but does someone from the outside come in from the state approved?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
and is there expense for that?
there is, and that
Okay.
has been budgeted in capital.
I think it's like 75,000 charge here.
Right.
I think
That's
it's
what-
50
over 5
50
years.
year over 5
Okay.
years for each school.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, originally it was you had to get all this done, and there were very few companies that could actually do the work. They're opening it up to more companies that can do the work, and they've also elongated the timeline. So districts are required to start doing 20% of their schools, which
Okay,
easy number for us with 5 schools. The revenue lines, I'm glad, just walk through the revenue lines a little bit. So the question was, if I understand correctly, we're using some small revenue. The Board of Ed generates to offset some additional costs. What would the revenue typically go towards? Good question. So there's really, to me, there's 4 main revenue accounts that we have. Parking at Massac, students pay a fee to park at Massac. That money is designated only for the driveway. So striping, paving, curbing, when we redesigned the driveway, lights in the driveway, things of that nature. Not gonna, use that money for anything else. I'm disingenuous to the students doing that. So that's always been the Board of Ed's, the Board of Education stance on that, is that money is used only for the parking lots. The pre-K revenue we talked about the other night is that's the program for special education students ages 3 through 5, but the regular education peers that also take advantage of the program pay tuition. That tuition is used to offset some salaries, and then you see on here classroom supplies for the preschool. The facilities revenue, there's a facilities revenue primarily from the high school, but there are uses at the other schools. Outside organizations want to use our gyms, our auditoriums. A lot of times, dance recitals that want to use the auditoriums, or outside theater companies in the summertime have used it, or they want to use the fields. That money goes into our facilities account, and that money is used for repairs on buildings. Custodial overtime is built into that, so we don't, we're not going to pay out of a Board of Education account for our custodians to work a night event for one of the local dance academies or something like that. So custodial overtime is paid out of that, as well as any emergency repairs. It's kind of years ago, I think we used some of that money when there was a leak in the Massac auditorium.
I think we also replaced the curtains on the Massac stage.
On probably the fire curtain, yeah.
The fire curtain using that.
What you're getting revenues for.
Exactly,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the last one is the Monroe Early Learning Center. That was the daycare preschool program for municipal and district employees. Majority of that revenue is used to offset expenses for the program, salary, supplies, equipment, training. We have used that in the past. This current year, I think we spent about 40,000 out of that account to purchase new tables at Massac. Massac switched their schedule this year and moved to a situation where they had two lunch waves. They had to actually put tables into the staff lounge. We used, did I say 2 tables?
2 lunch breaks.
2 lunch waves. Okay, I'm like $3,000. 2 tables do not cost $3,000. I got scared for a second there. Yeah, no, so it was to buy lunch tables to serve the 2 lunch waves.
Okay,
We're putting it to good use, basically, generate revenues from these certain programs that you have.
Right.
Ideally, to go back to continue up the upkeep, and then also to make sure that that revenue still comes in. We don't have a tendency for someone.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's a great place to have it.
Would you say that those things are usually a wash?
And, so,
Wouldn't say so.
yeah, so especially,
Yeah, so especially MES.
I mean, I'll say,
Yeah, so there is fund balance sitting there right now, which is why we feel we could use the
75 for the
For the
grown
grown
folks and all the,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay, that's good.
I don't know if I read this one correctly. It said if we were to restore the 193K to your budget that was previously moved out of revenue, what would you use it for? So
I think it's kind of like, I think it was kind of like almost like a tack on.
to that question, okay, that's the way I read it. Okay, yeah, because we would use it. If you feel that, then we would not use the revenue lines for that. We'd use it for those other things. Yeah. All right, so this question was on tuition. So from what I understand, this is a tuition we pay for students that are receiving education out of district. Are there any programs that can be funded in our district to offset? Do we have space for any such programs? And finally, are there any programs you could see resulting in a net positive for the budget? So it's a great question. First of all, this line in particular encompassed a number of different tuitions. Our BOAG school at Trumbull, vocational school with, I think vocational was in there, Abbott Tech, the magnet schools, Fairchild Wheeler, 6 to 6, special education programs, Reach and Trumbull, as well as adult education programs. Does not make sense at this time to bring many of those back. Although, we've talked about, in the future, we'd love to be able to offer a therapeutic day program in the district. Right now, we just don't have the space to do it. We do believe it could be a great program, most importantly, a great program for kids, and B, something that, we could either, save money on in terms of tuition and transportation, as well as, possibly turn a profit at some point in the future. Beginning 2 years ago, we started the Monroe Community Program. It's now the Monroe Oxford Community Program. It's housed at the Stevenson Firehouse down on 111. That's a good example of this kind of thinking. Before that program existed, we paid tuition to Sacred Heart for a program called Rise for our students to go there. Keep them in district now. We do the programming. It's an awesome program, and they have ties with all of our community organizations and businesses, and they do a lot of work in the community with those folks. So love to, have opportunities to do other things like that.
So Joe, before you leave this question, I just wanted to point out that the therapeutic day program that you're talking about is one of the uses that has been identified for the new Chalk Hill building that's built, and the idea is hopefully it would actually bring, not only save us money, but allow us to make money by bringing outside students in.
Correct.
That's a dependency of.
Yeah, actually, Jen and Marissa just went to a program I'll just say a program in a neighboring town. Fantastic program for really young students, and the revenue being generated was pretty significant.
What was the program you were talking about that's held in town?
It's so I apologize. I said the Monroe Community Program. It was a Monroe Community Program. Then last year it became the Monroe Oxford Community Program. So now we collaborate with Oxford. They help share some of those expenses with us. But it's a transition program for students who haven't graduated that are between 18 and 22. It's a special education program for kids between 18 and 22 to give them vocational training and life skill work in the community.
That's great.
Okay, can we just pause here? Because this was one of my questions from a program design or enhancements. I was interested in understanding the models or services that might strengthen our ability in serving our students instead of, the outplacement things. Like, are there things like on a wish list besides this therapeutic day program, but like that are more feasible in the current now?
The therapeutic day program is something that would be incredibly significant, save us a lot of money. Currently, we have 41 students who are outplaced, and 38 of them are due to the fact that they need therapeutic day programming. That's something we could bring back into district that would save us significant.
Okay.
Very good. Other than that, we have a life skills program. Of course, we could start in elementary school. It would have to be in one building, so we'd be looking at staffing and addition to transportation. Because we have to do it just in one building versus 3 separate ones.
But do we have the space in any building for that now?
So it's not offered, but that would be something. So how,
So right now, we do have small pockets of students in different buildings, and
okay,
we kind of have created our own programs. We could have one central program. There are other districts that do that they have it in one building. So centrally located, and all of the students would be in that building. They still have access to regular education, but it would be in one spot.
okay,
And so then you have also the benefit of having teachers who do the same thing, working together, like we have with our kindergartners or our first graders, where you have a group of teachers working together, developing lesson plans, sharing ideas, and strengthening the program more, right? Instead of having, not that they don't do an amazing job in other, some programs in the buildings, but I can see that being really valuable to improve together.
So one of the conversation in the space facilities committee was either portables or there were options to add on, brick and mortar to the elementary schools in various options. Would any of those options have been sufficient to do that kind of program that you're talking about, or is that space really just needed for our basic?
We just did a program the other day where they have a full therapy day program in modular. So something like that would definitely be helpful to us. The modular four more classrooms, and offices and things like that. So they had 21 now. They look at like you have to get around 40.
So it's 2 classrooms per portable, am I right?
This one had 4,
And that one 4?
offices as well. That's
I usually see like,
How big are those?
what
How big are those?
I mean, it's a pretty big standing
very
facility.
large, yeah.
Okay,
I don't know that it's 2 modulars that were put together, because it's pretty.
like a double wide almost?
Yeah.
Like you said, 4 bedrooms and that's what popped into my head.
That's exactly right. That's why I asked about schools. Because the facilities committee has talked about that.
Mhm.
Of course, the other problem is you put that out there, you're taking away land for, like if you do it at Fawn Hollow, you taking playground space or whatever. So you can't just, as much as we would want.
Mhm.
I think we had identified Jockey Hollow as the first prime candidate to get a modular, right? So I don't know if that, but continue.
And going back to your question about like programs, I mean,
yeah,
I do want to call it a quasi therapeutic day program at Jockey Hollow right now. That's done a great job of keeping kids in district and having
Mhm.
kids access, access the curriculum in school rather than being outplaced.
okay.
So,
The general service, so
yeah.
yeah, it's not what therapy. As head of the district.
Okay. Well, and I like hearing about the regional opportunities because I know, in Trumbull's public meeting, they did say that Monroe is now a revenue stream for them because
Mhm.
we're using their program. And so, making sure that we're taking advantage or looking at that on a yearly basis, almost monthly sometimes,
Mhm.
to make sure that we're, capturing what other neighboring towns are doing.
Is that something that would be even feasible in the next fiscal year? Because would the cost benefit be that great where we could bring all of those kids back to town? Or no?
It's a process.
It's a process, but we have to be careful of talking about bringing kids back into district. Because
Okay.
we place them based on individualized meetings with
Mhm.
families and their team decisions.
Mhm.
So students that we have outplaced, they weren't doing well in district, and they are doing very well in our district.
Mhm.
So it'll be a discussion as to whether or not we would be students back and if it was in their best interest.
If we can accommodate that.
If we were to create something,
Mhm.
and we do have students who are struggling right now, and have so many different services in place. And we're teetering on the point of maybe having to outplace, so those students would be able to capture and keep with us, so they'd be able to stay in district, so that would be better. So
Okay.
it would absolutely be beneficial to us, but it would be difficult to say how many students that are already outplaced would we come back, because that's a decision that we can't just make on our own.
Okay, all right, so this
Part of
will
the
continue.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Phase out potentially, if we have our own.
And I think I need to be, clear on this too. It would not be a savings in year one. right? I mean,
No.
you're looking at, this would be,
Mhm.
you know,
It's an investment.
It would be an investment in the future, for
Mhm.
sure. I wouldn't want to open, the therapeutic day program and like, oh, now, how come we didn't generate revenue year one? It's obviously there's costs associated with it, and it's gonna take getting people into it.
Right. Well, and even the discussion too about the program location and kind of centralizing some of the needs at one location so that you're not having duplicate
Mhm.
staffing and, you know.
And
times
then more
four,
kids
times
are
five.
together, right? And that helps as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The next two questions, I think these are more for answer these, but it said, from a seasonality perspective, we expect very little additional cost for gas through the end of the fiscal year. However, our actuals through 3/31 exceed our proposed budget for fiscal year 27. Should we increase this line or add a contingency for utilities? Once again, our actuals here include encumbered funds for the year. And Ron had mentioned it at the meeting, and this is the same for the electrical. The next question, Ron had mentioned it Tuesday night that it's going to be meeting and looking at those numbers, project out the remainder of this year.
Yeah, myself and the Director of Public Works will be meeting to go through the
Okay.
utility accounts per, board in town next week.
Okay.
And then the last question was just on the generators. It says, have actual and budgeted expenses been reallocated to another line for 27? Yeah, this fuel's picked up as under. Very, very little fuel gets,
So the generators at the schools kick on, I think, once a week to run. They use very little fuel, and initially, a couple of years back, I think it was, we had budgeted what one complete fill up would be. We don't, doesn't even turn.
You still have
Yeah.
this one fill up.
So it is absorbed.
There are like regulatory requirements to like having generators at certain, like is, I don't know, some industries are highly regulated with like having a generator and like purposes of it and like getting it checked by the state, like that. I'm just curious if that's.
So, and Joe could probably talk more on the history or, as far as those two facilities. I know one of it, we wanted the generators for the cafeterias,
Mhm.
but I think in Massic's case, it's a facility for the public for emergencies.
Emergency.
yes, yeah. There's always been a question because Massac is not necessarily, I don't think it does have enough to generate energy, electricity, whatever. I don't think it's ever been have the capacity enough, and Dan will know this, to be a shelter. So that, yeah, just kind of naturally asked or something.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, before going to our section 3, I did have a question more along the lines of kind of the evolution of programming of STEM. So the STEM, curriculum seems to be kind of a standard curriculum now across,
Mhm.
whether you go to Jockey Hollow or you go to that isolated program, right?
Mhm.
So have you talked, as a team with your administrators about what the evolution of that program can look like? Because I'm no expert, Joe, but I'm reading that, STEM is evolving to actually STEAM, where they're including arts with musical digital composition and AI and data literacy and, bringing more in where they're doing flexible modules.
Mhm.
So I'm just trying to understand if Monroe has a position on what that next evolution might look like, where it's not an isolated program, where maybe, semester-long events are taking place, but if it still is a space issue,
Mhm.
is it going to evolve?
And it has evolved in some aspects, and you're right, in other, like the curriculum is, math, the core curriculum, math, English, science, social studies, it is the core curriculum. It was created, for anyone who's
Out of
around it,
space, right.
it was a space issue. Housed 225 kids, 75 kids a year over there. The main differences now are there is additional career and technology education programming for the students at STEM, whereas at, I don't know if Julia's here. Oh, yeah. We're at Jackie Hollow, they might get CTE one.
But I can't hear you, so I'm just gonna.
Go ahead, they get the CTE at Jackie Hollow is part of the arts, industrial arts rotation, so they get like a
Right.
quarter a year of it. Whereas at STEM, it tends to be a little bit more mechanical and robotics and things of that nature, computer, and they get it every other day. That's one piece of it. I do believe also, correct me if I'm wrong, that the art and the music has gone in that direction as well. So it is kind of more of we've never called it STEAM there, but
Yeah.
a lot more of the music technology.
Right.
That,
Well, and even,
video.
yeah, the digital media, environmental sustainability studies, entrepreneurship and business design, health and human services. So I'm seeing more
Yeah.
conversation nationally about moving into these flexible modules. And I was just kind of interested on that concept and how Monroe kind of fits into that standard. And it does sound like,
That went school wide.
Go ahead.
You're talking about like, expanding that and incorporating it and.
right,
President of the STEM program has actually helped to evolve how we do instruction in the whole school. So now we do these school-wide interdisciplinary units. If you remember the eclipse, the April eclipse that they bought classes for. We
right,
had school-wide, math people were doing eclipse math and the social studies classes were doing the Mayan calendar and so we had that STEM sort of inquiry-based approach to school-wide interdisciplinary units. We have our health fair Tuesday, which is personal wellness, careers and wellness, and actually has community involvement. We have many vendors from Monroe who have a health and wellness business who are going to do a booth in the gym and talk to kids about careers in health, and we also offer workshops for the kids to learn from. So what we learned from STEM, from all that professional learning around that type of education, has really helped the whole school.
okay. Okay. That's good. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, so I think now we'll switch over to a lot of the reporting that we've been reviewing. At the last meeting, we had section 3 kind of reprinted to show some year-over-year percentage changes. And then we also have in a new report with the blue, these are the true year-to-date actuals per category. Well, per object code. So we'll kind of like follow along. So we'll go, page by page. So on the first, with any of the board members have questions on first page.
Rebecca, which you working through this?
We're working from section 3,
The
the one
ones
that
that called out.
yesterday.
Yes.
Tuesday night.
Or Tuesday night. Yeah. You got us started, Sam.
Wait.
Had a bunch of questions going into last week.
Yeah, they're on.
I was gonna just let you go through, because I think you probably had a bunch of this on the side class.
No, it's okay. You can,
Oh, okay.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so certified staff, I'm on page 1, the staff art at Monroe. Looks like a big increase from last year, but if you go back to 23-24, we were above budgeted line for this coming year. So what's with the, up and down?
So we have an art teacher split between Monroe Elementary and STEM. So previously, it was more of a 50-50 split. And then it went to the person spending more time at Monroe comparatively to STEM. So it shifted in the number of hours of the art teachers.
Okay.
So is that a timing accounting thing, or is that always gonna be represent that way? Is it always gonna show higher on one and less on another?
What, between schools?
Yeah,
I think it's just, it's an FT allocation,
okay.
you know.
So it could change.
It
year
could
to
change
year.
Year to year.
So-
Okay.
Yeah.
Same, well,
Mhm.
barring,
Yeah.
you know, annual increases, same, it's just how it's
Right.
split between the
Yeah.
buildings.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a number of things in here.
There's a number, there should be a number.
There's a number of them, yeah.
Because every year, the elementary principals and all the principals, quite frankly, you know, as you're divvying up, sharing staff at these.
I'm assuming that's the answer to a lot of the ones where
Yeah.
if you look back 1 year, it looks like you've got a large increase from this year to projected next year. But if you go back to 23, 24
Correct.
timeframe, next year it's back to where you were 3 years ago, and it's that kind of allocations.
Yeah.
Sir, you can sit over here, sir. You can sit over there, sir.
All right, anything else on the first page?
Mhm.
Okay, gonna go to the second.
So again,
The teacher, tech ed,
well, I've got the art STEM, which shows 149% increase. So
That's with the Monroe.
That's that offset.
Same,
Yep.
same thing, right? So,
Okay.
yes, it's a large increase from last year, but if you look at 2023, it's actually less than it's spent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
and then the third grade Fawn Hollow.
So we have a bubble. Sixth class?
Yeah.
There's,
Second.
second and fourth have 6 classes. So as those grades move up, you're gonna see
Oh, gotcha.
an extra class because the other grades have 5.
Okay,
So you'll see that.
so it follows
down.
the class.
Follows the
Yeah.
grade.
And so that's gonna be.
You should see that in fifth too.
Yes.
Yeah, you're gonna see it at the top of the next page
Yeah,
in Fawn Hollow.
And you'll have the similar thing at Stepney,
Stephanie's got a bubble too.
fourth grade right now.
Okay. Yeah, Stephanie with my next, was gonna, on the next page, it's gonna be in the next.
and then fifth, yeah.
Okay.
All right, any other questions on page 2?
Mhm.
Okay, page 3. Speech at Fawn Hollow, looks like it's higher. Speech,
Jeff on Hollow, but that should still be a 1.5. Because it's a full-time.
You know why, there was a maternity leave last year and Fawn Hollow teacher covered for.
That's right.
Well, someone, that's why. So that was
At another building,
another building she covered.
because we have one person who's 0.5, so she works half-time, so she had availability to go to another school and cover a maternity leave for a speech and language pathologist. Actually, she did that twice last year too, once at Monroe and once at Stephanie.
okay,
So that's that
So-
21% you're looking at?
yeah,
That's the 21, that's.
21.
It's on-
That's the
it's on my page,
21.31%.
That's what I thought when I went through it, yes. Yes.
Line item. Or row.
What's that?
So my next one in that same section is the 100% increase.
Decrease?
Decrease. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry, decrease. What is CP. Special ed.
Sped CP, Sheila. Do you know?
Special ed.
I'm sorry, what?
Special ed CP
What page?
Dash,
3.
we're on page 3. Now,
A community program?
10 rows from the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Oh, yeah.
program. So we share expenses with
Oxford.
Oxford. And
Okay.
the other, part of the teacher salary goes through my IDA grant.
Okay. So is that accounted for in revenue?
Accounted for in the grant.
And
right?
it's counted in the grants, not,
It's counted
not
in the
in.
grant.
Okay.
Any other questions on 3? All right, page 4.
Staff at STEM line and decline of 84.43%.
We had a change in staff, so a veteran staff retired and then a newer staff member came in
At a lower rate.
at a much lower rate.
The psychologist, the next one down for me is psychologist and at Monroe.
We adding?
Went up to 37. From last year?
And maternity.
She was on a maternity
This
leave.
year was a maternity.
Yeah.
This year, she was on a maternity leave.
Okay.
And then the Monroe special ed aides is I don't even know.
The question was, what is the difference between regular ed instruction? Like, who are the aides? So there's the lunch aides and then the regular ed instruction. Is that just different payroll accounts?
Those are the
Yeah.
paras.
Okay,
So I didn't know we spiked any out to regular ed and,
So regular ed, your educators, or if it was in the classroom, so they on a different line.
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing what River's saying, but I do want to expand on the question a little bit.
There's no public. No,
There's no public
participation.
participation.
So why,
Just the board
what the people doing your,
listening.
got the questions addressed another time then?
That's okay. Appreciate the apology. Okay, so we're good on the aides. All right, did that answer your question?
yes, and then the lunch aides.
They do lunch and recess.
Okay,
So they come in for 3 hours a day
okay, all
and
right,
they're strictly lunch and recess and they're done for the day.
perfect, thank you.
Okay, moving on to page 5.
Are any of the custodian line items offset by some of the rents and fees that you were telling us about earlier?
No.
Okay,
No, this is their
Regular.
regular salaries. Yes.
Okay.
Anything they make above in overtime, outside organizations gets paid separately.
okay.
Yes.
Any other questions on page 5?
Just wanna also do a question about the EOC.
Sure.
Go to page 11. If it's still doing overtime, there's a few overtime lines in there. They're kind of separate now. So I
Mhm.
imagine that's
Separated from snow to regular overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Still overtime, then, yeah, we have regular overtime for, covering after school events. But our events,
So when we rent it out and they need services, that's charged separately
It's
to their
charged
fee.
separately.
Okay,
there's a.
And that
it's on our-
covers
it's on our
their
facility
costs.
use fee. Yeah.
okay. All right, I'm moving to page 6.
Actually, I'm sorry, I had a question.
Sure.
The security, is there any? How is the security budget determined? Has there been any incidents where we think we need to increase security or things that are, how do we determine whether we need an armed security officer or a non-certified security?
Well, this district has always taken the stance of having armed security. So following Sandy Hook, we've had 5 school resource officers. So we have school resource officers, which are Monroe police officers. That they're actually not. They wouldn't be on our line. We used to have 5. We used to have 1 in every building. Got to the point where the police department couldn't staff the SROs. People don't join the police to work in a school. So they still give us coverage at the high school and at the middle school. We have then in our budgeted in for armed school security officers, which at each of the other 3 elementary schools for security. We have next door to Sandy Hook. That's always been a priority for us to have an armed person in each building. All of our armed school security officers are former police officers. Usually, I say usually because one right now is not a former Monroe police officer, but all of them have Monroe police officers. One was the former SRO at Monroe Elementary, so they're familiar with the community and whatnot.
We also have one ASSO, armed school security officer at the high school. Last year, we had one at one elementary go out for a period of time and one at another. And it was hard for the PD to try and cover our buildings. So we've hired an extra one, which gives extra support at the high school, but then it also covers if the ones in the elementaries are going to be out.
So the current funding is adequate?
It is. I know one of the areas that we've looked at is security after school.
Okay.
Yes.
At the high
But
school.
what
The
about
high school becomes a community.
cameras and the advancements with like the AI technology and detecting a threat and all of that?
Yeah, Paul is
He's on
looking at
top
some,
of that.
is looking at some, we have to do some updating at some of our the cameras at some of the elementaries, which I think is on the capital.
It is.
Okay.
Thank you. Paul, you have recently, if I remember correctly, added cameras at some of the schools, Massac or others. I don't remember the details.
Second, we also did Monroe Elementary. But the 2 schools that got upgraded for cameras. One hour was next, and then following that steps. Then I'd like to see Jockey all and
Do the teachers have panic buttons?
teachers now.
Okay.
Every telephone in a teacher's classroom becomes a PA.
I like the intercom.
It becomes an
Mhm.
intercom.
Okay.
And you did, in another meeting, well, we're getting ahead of ourselves here, but the new telephone system will allow more pinpointing to the exact room
Yeah.
when, if there's a call out for an emergency as opposed to just the building.
Correct, yeah, if a user dials 911, I'll be able to pinpoint exactly where, not only the physical street address, the location of the building. My department's working with the police department right now to standardize that naming convention. This moving forward.
All right, moving on to page 6. Oh, sorry. So permanent subs, are we anticipating some absences? Those are planned?
So-
Building helps.
No, go ahead.
Each building has permanent subs.
Yeah, you're saying because there's an increase there?
Yeah.
The interns.
It alternates between interns. We'll get interns from Sacred Heart or Fairfield U, Southern, West, depending on the university who has an intern, that has a certain cost to it.
Mhm.
So if the building takes an intern, then they will have an intern and a permanent sub. But if they can't get an intern because there aren't always enough candidates out there, then they'll get 2 permanent subs. So you'll see fluctuations between the intern lines and the permanent sub lines.
Okay.
And these are people doing their student,
Sometimes it's part of student teaching
Yeah.
and sometimes it's just the intern. So they're in the building the whole day.
But
every
we have
day.
to pay the university.
We still end up hiring former interns.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's a great job interview.
Yeah, we train them and
Yeah.
they know us, and then you all get to see them. Yeah, and all the stuff that was. Okay, toward the bottom of page 6, the custodial. I assume that's the $30,000.
Correct.
That we didn't do this
Last
year,
year.
so.
Yeah.
That is the cost going back in.
Mhm. With the floors and having everything cleaned out.
Yes.
All right, moving on to page 7.
It's not a lot of money, but it's a large percent. What, the nurses
At
at
Massick.
Massick? What changed year to year?
I think the big thing there is CIAC requirements for to allow student athletes to play in July, and then having them come in to get health forms and things of that nature. So I think it's an additional stipend that we added out. That's right.
Because a nurse has to come in and collect all of that.
Yeah, want to verify. that they're-
Verify that
yeah.
medical form.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The season starting earlier too in August than it used to.
Anything else on page 7?
you're having trouble having people up stipends, doing the yearbook committee or whatever, after school activities. If you find that you have certain stipends that are budgeted for that, you can't get teachers.
We do, and if they're not gonna run, then we just don't run it, we'll run those. There's not a, There's not a
So-
lot that don't go, and
Do you want to explain like the club stipends and stuff? Cause you refreshed it, right?
Yeah.
So that is done what, yearly or
So, well,
every other?
well, every time we have a new contract, we'll go through it to see which stipends that are in the contract that haven't run. They haven't had anybody use them over the last 3 years, or sometimes even, when we just did it the
Right.
last time with the last negotiation. So we're
So
some
it's
that were
part
even
of
longer.
Contract.
We are-
teacher's contract.
Yeah.
So we are watching them to see, and then as new ones come on, every new contract, we would add those and we'll take off the ones that aren't being used.
So essentially the contractual stipends, for the for the contract, and then
Right.
they just stay there. To any whether or not they're worth not, until the next contract comes up, because you're
Correct.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay, makes sense.
And so we've reconciled that against the new. Okay.
Yes.
yeah,
We could basically.
We just go through these, right?
Right.
Yes.
I have a question regarding the athletic surcharges. How is that be determined? Percent of the expenses for the athletic programs, or is it something that not know, just have the kids have a little skin in the game, or how's that determined that fee?
that was determined years ago by the Board of Education to offset costs. I don't know if it was ever used to pick apart a particular percentage of it. Just be that's in place. It was, at one time, it was $300. It's $250 now. Still, I don't know of any districts that have one higher than us. But
So that's,
I think it's still three.
is it 300 still?
I think it's.
yeah, I pay.
Is it 300 still?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the pay to play is 300.
300.
Yes.
And where does that go? In one of those revenue accounts?
No,
It offsets, so it's on page 9.
Offsets the stipend,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
So that's why that's a negative in there, because it's
There is.
every time someone pays the 300.
yeah, that's true.
That's right, there's a
300. There's a family cap at 900 at 12. I think it's 1,200. So if you have multiple children that play.
Or
you know,
multiple
Right.
sports.
multiple sports.
Yeah.
they
What's
get
the
that.
family cap? Is it
1,200.
12? It is 1,200? Okay.
Yeah,
and then hockey, is that still?
hockey is not
Oh.
part of the family cap. That's,
And they have
That's an
no,
expense.
they pay for ice time.
They've always paid more.
Right,
And the fees, I know that there's been a lot of discussion over the years. They got to a point where the fees went up so high that participation was going down. And so
Yeah,
I don't think it's been.
it might have gone from 350 to 300. I know it was
Yeah.
higher than it was.
Yes, I know that it's higher than where it was higher. And
Yeah. But to your question, I don't think there was ever that'll cover X percent.
Right.
So there might have been a formula behind it or something.
Yeah.
else we don't know.
all right, so moving on to page 9,
No,
or you have one?
oh, yeah, page, on page 8,
Okay, sorry.
yeah, the stipend band, at Mathis, again, this is one of these where in 23, 24, it was the same value for next year. Why was it lower this year?
For what sport? I'm
For
sorry.
band at Massac, the stipend, I mean, I know that for this year, there was the additional, wasn't it this year, we added a point something, but that was
See, what's
in
the
regular.
band stipend that we put back? What's, that's going back in that new contract. Yeah, it is.
As an ex-band parent, I'm just curious, again, not a lot of.
I feel like we were bringing back a
So it looks like, yeah.
a band stipend that had been there, but then there wasn't enough enrollment to something, so it stopped. And then they wanted to bring it back, but I can't
Mhm.
remember which one it is.
It looks like it was up, so between actually, I'm gonna stop talking because I'm wrong. No, I'm not. So it looks like it went, the actuals between band, choral, and theater were higher in fiscal 25 and a little lower in fiscal 24. And now they're coming back up. But all of them together couldn't balance
but-
out.
Yeah, but from a staffing standpoint, my understanding has always been those are discrete people. Right, the stipend, the person doing band is not getting, well,
Not typically,
right,
Okay,
not typically, it's typically a different
it's
person.
typically
okay.
different human beings.
So I don't want to make a general statement, but for golf and cheer and things where they're kind of going up by 40 or more percent.
It's aligning some of those with the seasons that they were. They were previously underpaid comparatively to similar sports or seasons that had longer times. So we were just trying to bring them up and have it more equitable across the different sports.
Okay. All right, any other questions on 8? Moving on to 9. Sheila, can you explain how tutors work?
We have,
These are,
yeah, go ahead.
these are, the interventionists at each of the schools. So this is,
And then what's
non-certified.
AYP?
I think that's the name, that's an antiquated name that's just been in the system for a while. It stood for adequate yearly progress, which was, I think, a term used during the No Child Left Behind era. And I think that was put in there for that, but
Okay, so going forward, are we closing those
Yes.
codes? Okay.
yeah, we did here, right? Yeah.
Yep, yep, that's why they're all minus 100%.
Okay, that's what, yeah, okay. Any other questions on 9? Moving on to 10.
So the librarian at Jockey Hollow. You're going from 21,000 down to nothing.
So your question.
I'm sorry,
The librarian is no longer at main campus.
Right.
That's them.
Full-time at
That's them.
STEM, which is why there's no cost
There's a library
there.
media specialist at Chuck Hollow.
Okay,
Between certified and non-certified. So the librarians are non-certified.
Okay.
And we have payroll adjustments in here.
Those are for,
Okay, so that wouldn't fall under HR? Or is that its own,
so I guess it could fall under HR. We've always handled it through the payroll adjustments in here.
so separately? I thought we kept them together.
So there's wage adjustments on the town side in HR.
Okay, so this is for the
This is,
school side.
yeah.
Okay. And that's new this year. Well, last year.
Well, in theory, it gets allocated out,
Okay.
yeah, after the contracts are settled.
Last year was bigger because the open contract was teachers.
This is libraries, like secretaries.
Correct.
On the extra work certified reading summer, we didn't do any this year, we're not doing any next year, is that just something that's not needed anymore, or?
We've been using the reading, we've been using the digital platform. Lexia. But not.
So that's something that we're not going to be staffing going forward even.
Correct.
And I'm assuming when we do that, we're not negatively affecting student learning or counseling or.
We've gotten some good, I think we've gotten some.
Yeah, what we usually have, we have that big program, usually I'll use my curriculum writing line, reading consultants at each elementary school check in, they come in like an hour or two a week and they check in, they communicate with the families that we share like how to use the Lexia program, how often to use it, and those check in with the kids and see their progress, because they can log in and see their progress. So we still have a summer reading program happening, we just pay the reading consultants a few hours in the summer out of my curriculum to do so.
So if someone's struggling, they have like set hours that can come in and speak to.
Yeah, they know that's the perfect time. So like last year we started this, we sat home and we talked to the families. All the kids got a login, they did Chromebook, they wrote a Chromebook, and they were, asked to, recommended to do a certain amount of hours. And then give all the special sort of touch base with. And we had set weeks that they came in and made sure that the families check out the progress and stuff. Which I would results from that.
So I'm assuming that any place you all are removing headcount or reducing headcount, you're ensuring that there's no negative impact to student learning or retention or.
You good on all of it? Anybody good?
I don't know.
So we have a lot of tutors on here. I am on page 11, the top of page 11.
Okay.
And extra work boost tutor. Those are all, it looks like they're all zero for years now.
A lot of those were brought in during COVID.
Okay,
They're post-COVID.
will those also be deleted? Just in terms
So-
of like
so on the report,
redundancy?
It goes back to 2023.
Okay, so,
That's my activity there.
right, okay.
Don't say delete the TD account.
Did you say?
Don't say delete the TD account.
We'll deactivate it. Never delete.
Yeah. Nothing good goes on.
Clearly.
Okay, here,
Okay, page 12.
now, yeah, thank you. And scorers are, I'm assuming referees.
Right, yeah. it's crowd control, timer score, so
Mhm.
it's that working the athletic events.
Okay.
Does any of that go through like Booster Club or no?
No,
It's all, well,
Is any of that offset by gate receipts?
we use gate receipts to offset.
Yeah, it's not, so it's.
I know I saw
no,
gate
it's- So
receipts.
gate receipts, so if you go to page 31. It offsets officials. Yeah. Which are actually the game officials.
oh yeah, there it is.
The
At the
certified
bottom.
game official.
Yeah.
Good for you. Have we raised our entrance fees for sports?
It's a good question. Not in the past few
It's
years.
been steady for a while.
Yeah.
Are we charging though at games? Cause I remember first soccer. Yeah,
We charge for
cause like
football.
for away games, we would be paying and it would be free for everyone coming to our games. It's still
For what,
that way?
soccer?
Yeah,
Interesting.
We don't, football, basketball, we really charge for, and then state
okay.
basis charge.
You wanna stay with that?
Something to think.
I would consider just because I remember, you know, when we're playing away, we have to pay.
Devil's advocate, we charge the most.
That's what I was just saying.
For a surcharge, and we're gonna hit our parents again.
It's usually, especially that side.
I'm not talking about hitting our parents, give them a pass,
Mhm.
the visitors.
Charge them double.
No, I mean,
Well, like,
it's expensive, but $5 a game or whatever. I mean, we're giving it to their budget.
Yeah,
Why not collect
Charge
it?
more for citizens of both parts.
yeah,
I would just, you know, something to consider.
no, it's good.
No, it's not gonna help with our budget, but I'm just saying.
13.
Yes, page 13. Yeah. Yeah. Any questions on 13?
Mm-mm.
14?
Probably the point of our attention is very healthy.
Yes.
So people should know that all the towns in Pennsylvania are healthy.
And Frank, on the pension side, I mean, knowing that we're as healthy as we are, is that something that eventually we should be adjusting?
On the pension side,
Like the contributions, because now the market's gonna be working in our favor
so those are,
in some cases.
they're actuarially determined.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, so they
Okay.
is determined by.
And we
Based on-
can't adjust that. It's
Well, they
like-
factor that all
they
that
factor-
into the count.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so it's like the defined benefit plan, not the defined contribution.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
For staff. or Nonprofits.
Are you guys, are you talking
401.
about the retirement line on page 14?
No, it was general.
General
It was just a general
conversation.
statement. Just talking about pensions and contributions, but yeah, we have to contribute what's dictated.
We're talking about like investing in money that we're.
And yeah, we have a firm and there's a pension committee and it meets quarterly and goes through a whole lot of stuff. And the takeaway is Monroe is both The municipal and Board of Ed is very healthy. That's the important thing to
Take away.
take.
Mhm. What page you on? Page 14, turning to 15.
Okay.
Um, outside, um, outside agency services.
Oh, yes.
Special ed, the 101% increase. Again, that it looks big because it's going up from a smaller number last year, but it's basically in the.
Kids that we had, yeah, the kids that we had when we did the fight.
So that is that just really driven by the mix of students?
Correct. Yeah.
So. Nothing we can pull.
That 513,
Mhm.
I'm just looking at that year over year because we haven't come in over 4, so that's like where
Where are you?
on
The same
the
line.
outside agencies and services, 753, 200, it's page 15, about
Yeah.
3/4 of the way down.
Yeah.
That 513.
We're over right now in that line.
We're over 254 now.
More than 18 or-
That
Oh my
line's
God.
over. Where are you sitting right now in terms of your total budget?
High total budget.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean, you've gotten one payment in the state and
I'm over by $450,000. We're waiting for another. A little bit over. We have a lot of encumbrances in there that, work on yet, speaks on the next couple ones, so we have savings. Some other lines.
But you're also continuing to write new POs.
what'd you say? What was the comment, Ron?
Nothing.
Nothing? That's right.
Continuing to issue more PO.
Doesn't stop till after the school year ends.
Do you have a cutoff date for recs and POs
Theoretically.
in theory?
What's that? Do we have a profile date for that?
Well, yeah, well, kind of, the reality is if special ed,
No, I'm talking like in general, everyone.
yeah, so as we get closer to the end of the fiscal year, if things look like, if it looks like we're gonna have a problem with the budget.
Okay.
We can't write one without asking Ron.
I've got a really good staff.
And they send out notices frequent. We've already started to get them for this year.
But then, of course, you
Those
always
open
come to us to tell us which ones haven't been closed out and stuff, so we get that as we
Yeah.
go through July and August and.
Yeah, so like to Jen's point, you know, she may have some POs she might be able to close as the fiscal year gets closer, you know. Each department will analyze that, but, you know, in her case, you know, she'll be writing POs almost to the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah, page 16.
Mhm. Wait, one more question about 15. The professional education services interns, before we talked about the subs.
Permanent subs and interns.
They're the
That-
same people, but they're working different jobs.
They're different people. The
Okay.
interns are coming to us from one of the universities.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd like to have them because we want to continue to build the profession. But if we don't get applicants, then we can't fill it. So then we'll hire an extra permanent sub
Transfer the
Okay.
money out of intern.
and then
to
we
subs.
transfer. So that's why.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, page 16. The field irrigation, is that at a school?
Chalk Hill Field Irrigation,
Oh, okay.
is that what you're reading?
Yeah, I forgot. I didn't know what that was. Okay. All right, moving on to page 17.
We had it right up there, we used to. The jump in disposal services,
Yeah, so we're gonna be under, we're gonna go over this year. That number is in current year budget.
any idea how much, I mean, you're gonna go over to be close to what you're projecting for next year?
We're probably gonna go over by about, it's by about 20-25.
Which account is that, Ron?
And I think that was the question that was asked. We're comfortable with the 27 budget. If you look at, you know, 25 actuals, 26 actuals.
Oh.
Everybody good on 17?
Mm-hmm.
All right, 18. You good? Everybody good? All right, 19.
Does transportation include mileage reimbursement, if any? Or is this just for the buses?
That's it.
Okay,
So it only includes mileage reimbursement if a parent is transporting their student. Which is, in rare cases. What it is.
We talked about. Any questions on 19? 20?
the telephone and internet, are we going to capture any savings from the new system?
Well,
Okay, so right now,
So it's not in there.
it's not in here.
So that came about after the superintendent's budgets.
Okay, so this 161 net will come down in theory?
I'm
Yeah, so
That's okay.
yes.
Okay.
And I think they say it was like 26,000.
And 26.
Okay.
So I am curious on postage. I know it's not, that big of an amount, but with going to the new app and the communication channels being updated, I know that, legally there's things that need to be mailed, like IEPs and all of that. But do you foresee an adjustment in the long term to going like more digital versus paper?
Trying to think what we send, paper that.
I know like for the art show, you did like a postcard,
Yeah,
like
we'll do a
announcements,
postcard for
special
that.
announcements.
Yeah, that's every other year. There's possibilities. We have to just make sure it's secure. If we're sending, like, I could think of like discipline letters, things like that get mailed out. There
Okay.
could be a possibility of that. I don't know how much it would be for postage, but.
Like the things you do have to mail have to go out certified,
A lot of
like
times, yeah.
$6.
Yes. Yeah, bags and stuff too, yeah.
There's still a need for postage.
And it's still.
Yes.
So funny. Keep them going. All right, 21, we're good to move on?
Not secure.
Mhm. Any questions on 21? Nope. Okay, moving on to 22. Good. 23.
So just in general, supplies. A lot of these are going down. Going up very much. Are we purchasing enough or are we relying on buying supplies? Head surplus in the current year?
I think, tightened the belt last year for sure with the reduction, so that's why we were lower, but I think we're in a good place next year. That's something.
And do you have any kind of centralized purchasing? So you can get some more power with, what you're buying? Oh, is it all one?
I would, I mean, is all the purchasing, well, from an instructional supply standpoint, I mean, I know you probably do a lot of that, but I would say.
Person who goes to central office. Curriculum, materials.
Like Amazon
Yeah.
Business and WB.
WB, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
One deck, but most of the vendors
Mhm.
that we use, we have school accounts, I'll be honest, so it's pretty much the same percentage whether they're ordering at the school level or central office,
Mhm.
that's pretty similar to.
Okay,
Percent, so it's.
so you're capturing some
Yeah.
of that, okay.
Are we in any kind of buying group with any other district or anything like that?
No, I mean, we used to, when we had less money for MLL, we were part of one, with CES, but. Now we're bigger and we actually get more money from government, so we can't spend that group anymore, so.
All right, 25.
All of these decreases that I see, these are the stuff that added up to that $100,000 of overall
With all the other lines. of budget.
savings that
Yes,
was in your presentation.
right.
Any questions on 25? Good, 26. Good. 27.
I have a question on the electricity. Has there been any further discussions on maybe looking at a solar system for Massac or, I mean, I saw a really nice system at the Ridgefield High School back there that covers, provides shade. Provides the teachers getting wet from the rain and it generates some significant kilowatts.
It's almost like a carport.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ridgefield has a real nice.
Yeah.
And sure they did their due diligence and exactly. Every installer has different economics, but there is a certain number of years where you it's payback. It's definitely something looking into. It's like 65,000. That's a big number.
Yeah, the energy system. We talked to Titan Energy and had, continuous conversations with them too. Looking at doing something like that at the high school. Savings was not as what I would think it should be. It's like $20,000 a year. Is it $20,000 a year?
It was in that area. We did significant research
And,
with goals work. We
yeah.
did a lot of reports for multiple solar companies and it didn't.
And what were you putting out?
Like a carports, like.
No, but what was that cost?
Cost of.
Well, it was like, they would outlay it, but then we pay, there's a whole fee structure to get it back. And it would generate, like I said, theoretically, it's gonna generate $20,000 a year for 20 years. So my concern was in 20 years, that's $400,000 that we would have generated over 20 years, which isn't a whole heck of a lot of
Yeah.
money. And if we've got to take them down in 20 years, it's probably gonna cost more than $400,000. I don't know about we'd have to look at the service charges. It's definitely worth looking into.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah.
now I think it's even tougher deal now because a lot of the subsidies and tax credits
Have dried up.
So,
Yeah.
so that's probably another.
Yeah, I think that's why the rate was, I expected a significantly higher rate. We met with them.
I will tell you this, there is worth it if you build a new building and you go with geothermal.
Yeah.
If you go with geothermal and you connect it to solar, then there's a big benefit. Right now, we're looking at, just add to that, the cogen systems where a propane generator produces its own electricity. So we've made several visits within the state of these systems that are done, as you know. So we are looking out from my side of things and also assist the Board of Education because of things. But solar works really well with the underground, the other system, the underground heating system, geothermal. But in and of itself, kind of a struggle with the benefits kind of disappearing. There's also
The economics are harder now.
Yeah.
I have some experience doing some commercial projects. What you need is sunny days like Arizona, Florida. That's what you need. And sunny days.
So like we're living in London.
Sure,
Under,
27.
yeah, we're still on 27, right? The heat energy, the increase, projected, is that just based on rates or is that rates plus usage? Is our usage generally steady?
Yeah, so,
Is that one that will do?
yeah,
Bill?
that's, are you looking at, the
Heat energy?
heat energy on
Yeah,
hollow?
heat energy, yes.
Yeah, so, that's the electric portion. That's the electric portion of the heat allocation portion of the electric at Fawn Hollow, because Fawn Hollow, probably 2/3 of the building is electric heat, I think. Which is,
But is that being driven primarily by rate increase or have we seen changes?
a little of both. A winter like this, it's driven more by.
Are we under contract with the rate?
We are for the, if it's a supplier, the generation portion. we
Yeah.
are, but there's also, the new fees that pop up, which is.
Okay.
Public charge, I guess.
Yes.
Just that. All right, page 28. Thing, 29. For software purchases, we're doing an inventory.
Yes,
Okay.
You
So
do
we,
it
we sunset and take
every
things
year.
off. Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, Mike meets with the tech integrators at the 3 levels, works with Qual,
Or so
so.
fall, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I think you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good to move on to 30?
Mhm.
Okay.
What do we think this bump in instructional technology? Are we investing in more? It's
That's the,
20,
That's the Chromebooks. Which one?
okay, the 205. Technology and hardware, 757, 340.
This is,
It's
we
this one by
reduced
the,
it by 75,000 last year, right?
the 205.
Okay,
So compared to FY 25, I think it makes sense.
That's, is that what the Chromebooks?
The 78.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where the Chromebooks set, and last year we froze and took the bylaw out to pay for Chromebooks ahead of time, to help the reduction.
oh, thank you.
Everybody good? Moving on to 31. Any questions? Okay, 32, sorry. Everybody good?
Yep.
Great. Good job. Oh, fun. Thank you for going through that. So there were some additional reports that were provided tonight, so in response to request from Sam, I believe.
I was just one. Yeah, so one of the reports, thank you very much for providing that. This is to kind of compare 24-25 actual number two with the proposed 27 budget. Because there were, there was an increase from 25 to 26, but some things were pulled back on, and I think it was kind of helpful for certain ones to kind of see what that difference was. 2 fiscal years ago to today. Like supplies was a great example. We had some really passion. I would say arguments, but like public participation, kind of talked to some of that struggle with the supply cuts, and we kind of got to see, oh my God, there's 14 or 33% increase in supplies from last year. Go back another year, it's only a 3% increase from back to each. So I think it's kind of helpful to kind of see some of those lines, which is this big jump, kind of go back 2 years and kind of see what we were before. And that's not going to be everywhere because it's not, pull back everywhere, but there are certain lines where it kind of helps that story of the change. So that's really what this is trying to do.
And it was helpful. As we were going through the whole thing, I was comparing. And it was really good to see, okay, and then you see the jump to fiscal year 26 and how we went from actuals to now.
And it all lines up with the report that we just went through.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So I don't think we need to specifically look at it, but I think it was nice to have as a dive over.
And this is, the one with the blue is
Just year
the
to date.
same as this without the encumbrances.
And I was looking at this when we were going through on some of the things, so it was helpful.
There was that special ed line that got called out on. It's 189 without the encumbrances so far this year, so.
And then we also have the pie chart, the town side. Which breaks out in comparison to the Board of Ed. That's a helpful visual.
The only one that's a real one-to-one is the benefits.
Yeah.
And they're all right on.
Mhm.
So are there any other questions for the Board of Ed members?
Yes. So, the end of the last meeting, there you mentioned insurance contingency. So, I didn't have a chance to write any questions, but, I guess my question is, how much contingency is built in historically, either as a percentage or as a dollar amount? And how much do you use of it? Historically, and I'm not expecting you to know the number off the top of your head tonight.
Yeah, so historically, we've never needed it. Okay. So this year, I feel we're gonna be using more of it than we have in the past. And that was just the result of so more people jumped on during open enrollment. We also have more life-changing events throughout the school system.
Out of additions to families.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I mean, I keep hearing this one's out, that one is out.
Yeah, so.
That's a good sign.
So,
It is.
so, those are all, what's the term I'm looking for? Life-changing events.
Life-changing events.
So,
Good ones.
Is there a percentage that you budget yearly or plan for yearly?
so historically in the 4 to 5% range, this year it's a little tighter than that.
Okay.
We also broke it out because we have some, what we're calling known projected changes. Because people have inquired that they're looking to.
Yeah, because you're at the mercy of what they do and.
Yeah, I mean, open enrollment could blow contingency right out of the water. So that doesn't happen until May, so.
End of May.
Yeah, until after this is booked and put to bed. That's, yeah, that's why I was trying to get an idea of what's happened historically.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
You kind of go hand in hand a little bit with kind of like revenue sources and how those are kind of used for like things you might end up using for a contingency, right? Like striping the parking lot or repairs to the auditorium, things of that nature. So it's just, we're reducing the contingency, we're pulling back on these other little pockets of money. That's something that, we don't want to be in a position where.
Well, wait, are we talking contingency on the whole budget or just
So
insurance?
if contingency was gonna get pulled out of.
Right,
of
that was
health
just
insurance,
insurance.
I would want the town to carry it.
Yeah.
So that was gonna be my, yeah.
So, and I'm only one opinion, but I would like to leave that contingency alone.
Yeah,
I think it's a wild card and I think they need it.
no, I agree, that's, but I wanted to talk
Okay.
about it so that we could.
Just a rough idea of how much.
That was literally gonna be my next question,
Okay,
is how would it even work for us to reduce the Board of Ed and put it on our side and then.
You would have to go in contingency. and if
Yeah,
we
but have
needed
to
it,
go in
we'd have to
contingency,
ask.
so now we're talking about it in one place or the other, and it doesn't
Right.
change the overall budget, I'd prefer to leave it.
Right,
in-
just take
in the Board
from
of Ed,
Peter
and I
to pay
think we're all,
Paul and just leave it.
Well, I think, Joe, you said the other day, 50% of it's already known in
Mhm.
terms of what's in the contingency.
Semi-known.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, about 200.
It doesn't
I think,
leave-
is-
No, and 4 to 5% is to me, more than a reasonable number. Ron, if I go, is there a single line item here that's gonna give me the insurance number? What I really wanna know now is, given the reduction, in the rate, even the $50,000 savings, or the Joe put
So it's
in the presentation, yes, what's the total, not increase, what's the total cost, estimated cost of insurance?
So 752, 800, it's page 14. Well, there's two lines there. There's the dental, which is actually, I have that budgeted, so that's that's a less significant number, but the medical and drug is 752,800. You want the whole budgeted line item?
Yeah.
It's 12,432,000.
So it's on page 14.
About a third of the way down, Steve.
Right.
Okay. So that number that we're looking at here is net of the 256.
It is not, it is not. No, that has not been adjusted.
That's what I'm, okay, so that's really what I'm trying to get down to.
So you'd be at like
So that
12,1.
that 12,432,902 has to be, can be reduced by 250,000 because of the change in the rate, and the 50,000 that you recalculate. Okay, that's what I wanted to get down to.
So it's 12,1. 12,182,902 is
No,
with,
it should be 12,130.
but that, right. I only took the 250 out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you're saying 50.
And
So 12,132,902.
a general question, I don't know if you can answer it. Obviously, you all live within the budget, whatever the money is, you know, put in and approved by the town. I know you do budget transfers all the time. Do you have any idea how many you do in a year?
Honestly, it depends on, we get them from the schools, they're managing.
I know, and I see them on a monthly.
I'll do every, a couple times a year, I'll go through and look through the salaries and see where money needs to be moved around. And it could be as simple as the teacher was budgeted in one spot, because when the budget projection for salaries is prepared in November of 25 for starting 7/1 of 26, FTEs could, that teacher could be, is budgeted in a grade and is could be moved to, could be moved to a different school, could be FTEs could be allocated differently. So, did I answer your question?
Outside of salaries. Do you have any idea of what that could be?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's, pure number of, I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking.
I think we're on the same train of thought with
But the
that.
reality is, the budget's a snapshot in time, and then you've got to have flexibility.
Right.
And that's where I'm going, because there's a lot of, conversation, and obviously out in public. Either, how accurate is the budget? Things, last year we talked about what money gets returned, we had a chart and so forth. As you point out, you're planning 18 months in advance, basically. From when Joe presents in December of the given year, because school finishes and June of the following year. And you have to live within that pool of money. And there's tons of transfer because things keep changing. It's a normal course of business, and I see it on a monthly basis when or whenever you come forward to the board with big budget transfers. But I just never had a way to add it up or to say, these are how many that are going on, but it's a normal course of business and you end up, with good numbers, obviously.
I did want to touch on enrollment. So from this year to the projection, we're looking at a change of 90 students. Has there been any change to that projection? And it's decreasing.
I can get you updated because this was as of 12/1.
Right, so I was wondering.
I can assure you that there's more students now than there were in December, just as we've had kids, it's just the preschool alone, I've had kids, enter into the program.
What was that?
I enrolled my last one in kindergarten on those, so.
No, you're gonna break the bank.
Yeah, so again, that was as of December 1st.
And these were our projections at the time. We do have kindergarten registration going on.
Okay.
I know,
I was curious what kindergarten was looking like.
so I can tell you right now, next year, on Hollow, which we have at 90 projections, is at 85 right now. Monroe, which we have at 38, is at 47 right now. And Stepney, which we have at 64, is at 61 right now. So.
It's still early.
Can you read those again?
Sure.
Sorry,
Okay.
thank you.
85,
On Hollow,
47.
yeah, 85, Monroe, 47, Stepney, 61.
So it's still 193.
Yes.
It's 193 right now. That's right now. Yeah, before next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have any more thoughts on the effect of the change in the enrollment?
Right now,
period?
that seems to have settled. That it'll be interesting next year because the legislature just made a new change because what we've done the past couple of years with the new kindergarten age is we have had the students go through an assessment. They've done the assessment, and then the team talks to the parents and gives them the recommendation, and ultimately leaves it up to the parents' decision to start the kids or not start the kids. Right now, our numbers seem to have settled back in. I think people got adjusted to it. That first year, there were a lot more families trying to enter kindergarten because the statute came out in the spring. And now all of a sudden people had to either find daycare or send their kids to kindergarten, and most of them decided to send them to kindergarten. Now people have had a year to get accustomed to that. So fewer people are looking to go through the waiver process. What'll be interesting next year though, Steve, not this upcoming school year, but the following school year is September 1 is a hard cutoff that next year. So we will not be dealing with any waivers or any of that. But I think families will have had time to adjust to that.
So it will settle out a year
I believe
from
so.
now. That will become the new normal kind of a cycle.
Yeah. People we're seeing too is, the first year, a lot of people signed up. A lot of people went through the waiver process. Now that they had a chance to, prepare for it, some of those families, November, December babies, now they're like, well, the kids are gonna be really young. Like they were gonna be young before, but now with the cutoff being September 1, what we're starting to see now, I'm starting to hear parents, my kid was born in August, I think I'm gonna hold them for a year. Or my kid was born in July, I might hold them for a year. Because they don't want them to be the young kids like they
Yeah.
had when they were in November and December. Yeah.
I was the young baby.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I tell parents all the time, no one's ever complained about nobody's ever regretted waiting.
What beyond kindergarten? What about the middle grades or some of the later grades in terms of pickup mid-year or over the summer? Is that basically the same year to year? I mean, there've been a couple of years where we had
the year
jump like COVID.
Yeah, the 5 years, 2020 to 24, 25. we were getting pickups all year in the summer, but that has kind of, that is settled down. Doesn't hurt that there's about 4 houses for sale in a row right now.
Only 4?
But that many.
Okay. Do we want to hit capital? Section 8. So I know, you already had spoken to the video board that's coming out for some private funding.
Yeah, that's not.
Okay.
But, yeah. It's
I
just not,
think we
it's a capital
adjusted that
project.
during the council. The council. Video board too.
On there, yeah, so in this one, but in here it's not.
Is the pool heat system part of that, any part of HVAC?
I think it's spiked out separately.
And you're doing Fawn Hollow first, right? For the HVAC and inspection?
The inspection.
Okay.
But there's nothing listed here, though.
Oh, at the bottom of the system.
At the bottom, it says,
Oh, gotcha.
I picked the
I
wrong, I
can't
get my
even-
glasses, but
Yeah,
yeah.
You
It's
can't
like a
even-
science thing.
Not gonna be able to see it.
Yeah.
Alright, that's fun.
This is what happens when you go out 13.
And the security upgrade is there too, okay.
Oh, you have the packet?
This?
No, the other binder.
No, I didn't get another binder.
Okay. All right, look along with me.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Question, so we have to, looking at Dr. Hollow, and this is where that 75,000. HVAC engineering assessment, 75,000 is 31, or FY 32, I guess. So we have to do that assessment in addition to the statewide assessment, totally separate.
It's different, correct me if I'm wrong, but the statewide assessment is to check on the efficacy of the existing program, whereas that 75 is an assessment to install a new HVAC system.
Okay.
As part of the engineering study.
I know I've said this before, but like the years where it's peaking at 7 million. We've
Yeah.
got to either pull something forward or push something back.
Yeah,
Well, that 1 year, 6.7 of it was the.
was the John Allen.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna have to look at that and see maybe move some stuff in. And balance it with, that's still gotta be balanced with all the other municipal stuff. But
Mhm.
we certainly don't wanna have bubbles if we can avoid them.
Is the HVAC assessment merely just like reporting to the state?
Pretty much.
Thank you.
What happens if?
I mean, it's also to give us formative feedback, you know.
Right.
If, you know, there's any.
But it's a required action.
It's,
We have.
yeah.
If
It's
so,
statute.
the state can kind of compile data,
I imagine they will.
right?
Can they force you to take any kind of action? Is there any?
Right now, my understanding is, no, I mean, right now, you have to do this, you have to do the assessment. It's a little frustrating.
That's the
because-
law, yeah, the law calls for the assessment.
Mm-hmm, so we
They
do
get
it.
all this data, they might turn around
Yeah.
and put another unfunded mandate.
Mhm.
Choice.
Yep.
And I think we mentioned the modular classrooms and there's add something like that to the capital plan, just one way or the other, it's gonna happen.
Probably, yeah.
Occurs or not, there's no the crowding that we are planning on addressing, right? So.
Right.
Well, given the current talked about schedule or whatever for Chalk Hill, we're probably gonna have to do something, some of the buildings. Anyway, in addition to.
Mhm.
I don't think there's any way we're gonna get around that. I think from a facility standpoint, the question is, do you do portables or do you actually take some of the options to add on? Brick and
Some of the
mortar?
buildings. Yeah.
Bless you.
Bless you.
All right, are you good on capital?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody good on capital? All right, for the grants, I know Ron, I had asked you at the last meeting about that, what it's called, this one. But you said it was in the budget, but not yet, it wasn't in our packet, the seed grant. It's not here, but it's accounted for somewhere.
Yeah, so
It's
that's,
only 41,000, but I just want to make sure,
okay, I'm sorry, I thought we talked. It's this, okay,
but. But,
the $150,000 grant.
no, this is the
We're talking
seed
about
one,
the
the little,
special education expansion, I don't know what C stands for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so this is our amount that we're getting. Is 41,000 some odd dollars, and I don't see it listed as something here. Is it in something?
So are you in the capital right there?
No, this is the grant page.
Oh, okay.
I know you showed me it's in the budget, but I don't see it here, like in our monthly reporting.
It came out after.
Okay. And then I guess I want to understand with the town grant writer, were there additional things that she was able to get for you in this fiscal year or next that are not accounted for here?
Not yet. We're working on the Jockey Hollow roof with it right now.
Okay. And I know I mentioned to you the new trauma and behavioral health support grant. Like these new things that are coming up with applications that open, are you working with the grant writer? Like, how are those on the radar? Does the Board of Ed tell you to apply? Do you apply?
Usually we'll get information from, usually stuff will come to me and I'll send it if it's a trauma. And what was that one again?
It was trauma and behavioral
Behav-
health support, so it's PA 2593, section 26.
Yeah, usually when they come in, I would pass that to the staff.
Okay. Because I just saw that one opening on the state website. I didn't know if that was something we should be looking at. And then I know we talked about the Connect.
Connect to care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is that
Yeah.
on here? Because I don't see that either.
That is not on here. I don't know if, was this the first year? Yeah.
So should it be on here?
It didn't, I think it might have come on after after the budget was prepared this year. But
So do we know what we're getting though?
Not up. Do you know what it is off the hand? I didn't think it was a lot of us.
So it's, what I understand of it, we get money back based on certain services that are utilized, so it's not a set amount
Okay,
over time, so if I out for you,
okay.
I don't think that.
Connect,
Care.
yeah.
What would we use that for?
It's for mental health services. Support guidance.
So would it be additive to existing?
It
services?
would, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it would just help with the costs for sure. Cause I had noted we have 1 million for psychologists, 1.4 for guidance, 200 for behavioral analysts, 300 for student support, 2.5 in aides.
I'm quite.
I don't know if all of that qualifies, but
Yeah, but my question is, if we got that grant, is it to offset the cost that already exists, or is it to provide additional services?
It's additional services.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's.
Usually most of the grants are not gonna let you supplant.
they're not gonna go backwards,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
forwards.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
And the concern with some grants, sometimes they'll give you the grant for a couple of years and then you have to fund it, to fund your app.
Yeah, no, I remember over the years, we get a grant good for a couple of years and start a program and then it goes away and town has to, you know, pick it up. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that if we get this grant, it's not offsetting.
Good clarification, because I knew that, but I wasn't saying that. Okay. Any other areas that you had already?
Not with them per se, but I have a question really for this body, because we haven't really discussed it. We had $1.2 million ad that for selectmen.
Steve, unfortunately, indicated just a little bit, it's really hard to get in depth. I apologize. I'm trying to hear you.
You guys speak out, we can't hear you.
I'd like to yell.
Steve.
Okay,
No, please.
so we haven't discussed your recommendation to add back $1.2 million. We've treated it, superintendent has made a presentation to us as if it was going to be added back, and we haven't had a conversation. And I'd like to have a conversation to at least see if we're all in agreement, at least that far in the school budget. And whether we support it. Again, I said last meeting, for the public, nothing's done until everything's done. Our motions come at the end of our process, but it's also true that we pencil in things along the way. So I want to have that discussion. Hopefully other people do. I support adding back the 1.2. That's what I wanted to have a conversation about.
I am not opposed to it either. I want to revisit my question from last week. Is there anything more? I love hearing about the ideas that you have for additional programming and putting everything into one place. I think that's really good, especially for the kids and the parents knowing that, you know, everyone's together learning, and I'm sure that there's synergy within the schools and the departments. So, you know, have you thought about anything else?
Yeah, you stumped me the other night. I wasn't expecting that.
I know.
And then I should have thought about some of the things that have, you know, that we'd like to especially get back.
Anything
first.
that's like fallen to the wayside.
Sure. So right now we have a pre-K program. The pre-K program, it used to be a full day program. It's now a 4-day half-day program. So it used to be, you know, Monday through Friday, ran from about 9 to 1:30, 1. Now it's two half days, Monday, Tuesday, AM, PM, kind of like the old kindergarten schedules, with Wednesdays off for the staff to have meetings. Right now, that's constrained by, quite frankly, it's constrained by space. So that was, you know, that was kind of done out of space issues. So that's definitely one. You know, we've identified math as an area of struggle for the district for a while. It's not just our district, it's around the world, around the country, probably around the world too. But we have a math specialist that we hired to try to work at 3 different elementary schools right now. It's great. We hadn't had that before, so this is the first year with that position. But idealistically, you know, or ideally, that would be, you know, we have a coach in each of the buildings to do that, and a specialist for that.
So what would that be in terms of?
That would be 2 FTEs. Yeah. This is my wish list, right?
That's what we wanted.
No, and they're important things. Right now, library media specialists, we have a little bit inequity between the 3 elementary schools. It'd be good to have full-time library media specialists, which is a certified position at each of the schools.
Wait, what was that?
Library media specialists.
Library media,
Yes, it's a certified position right now.
Okay.
They are, we have, we don't have a full-time person at Steadley. You know, over the years, we've eroded the instructional leader structure across the district, especially at the secondary level, at the middle school and the high school. We had a world language instructional leader that was removed years ago. And then, you know, the last things I would say is other intervention support at, you know, at the secondary level with a literacy lab and a math lab that, you know, in the perfect world would be staffed by certified personnel.
Okay,
Okay, so that's the laundry list of things.
The wish list.
The wish list of
Mhm.
things. Can you get us costs, please?
Sure.
Feasibility, right? Because I think you said
Well, yeah,
Pre-K,
please,
can't really
pre-K you
happen,
can't do
right?
Yeah.
because,
maybe it could happen sooner.
Yeah.
It could happen.
what?
What's the pre-K you were talking about with the, for staff? and
That's the Monroe
facility?
early learning center. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that's not this.
okay. Sorry.
I think you were saying something about we could be full time.
No, or there, we may be able to.
To get
FTE.
at least, yeah.
It's more for growth.
I mentioned before too, I know security I know high schools was looking for security at night
Mhm.
for night events.
Okay.
So I guess my request would actually be twofold. A, prioritize that list, and B, price it
Mhm.
Okay.
fully burdened.
Okay.
And I guess, I mean, you said 2 FTEs for, could you do with one? Could this be something in phases?
I mean, that's what we did. That's how we started. It's by getting one
Yeah.
specialist to go across
I
three
know
schools.
you have done that with
Mhm.
other participants and add point X,
Mhm.
rather than times.
Mhm.
So I will just caveat to say that if there are any other
Mhm.
questions that come up as, you're thinking about things, reviewing things, you could send them to me, I could send them to Joe, and we'll still do that, Google Doc or
Mhm.
email,
Yeah, absolutely.
back
This
and
is
forth.
great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, I just think, just to wrap it up, I do want to, was my support for reinstating the proposed $1.2 billion at that for select as a dividend to the town.
No, I'm looking at the other two members, yeah, I'm looking.
I support this, the add back.
Okay,
me too.
so. I think we're in a good place on that.
Happy day.
I think so.
Good.
Already, isn't this awesome? 9:15.
All right, so
All right.
I have one more question, and this is,
Okay.
now I will address it to Heidi, not Ron, because I just. If not for tonight, then for next week, can you run the numbers with the or even send it out to electronically with the 1.2 add back and the adjustment to
Insurance.
the insurance, and then Ron, you made a comment, if I interpreted correctly, there might be some other
Well,
things in.
I think, so we're gonna leave the contingency with insurance alone.
Yes,
Um,
for now. I mean, we might get to the last meeting and we might need to make an adjustment, but for now.
so we'll just leave contingency alone at this point.
Please,
So
yeah.
it's the 250 and the 1.2.
Is there anything, I thought your comment was more directed. Maybe it wasn't directed at all, I misunderstood, that maybe there was something in the overall budget, in other words, on the municipal side, is there anything that needed to be tweaked? Or any, like last year you came to us and said something needed to be tweaked and we penciled it in.
I think there's some small stuff, but I mean, the main thing is again, the contingency for utilities. There is some small stuff, but nothing.
Yeah, so if there is, you can include that or enumerate that. I'm just trying to get ahead of the game before we go our next. Yes.
Rebecca, the item that Steve asked for, you want me to just send it right to you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Sure.
Mhm. And I'll get an email to you. Okay. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.